I've always wanted to look for the opportunity to be involved in some sort of like space project, some sort of DIY project.
Jay told us all about this very interesting competition, Spaceport America Cup. Frankly, I'd never heard about it.
And he just came up with this crazy idea to build a new rocket from scratch.
And they were like, oh yeah, we were talking about making a rocket. I was like, a rocket?
And then we were all like, oh, interesting, building a rocket? Yeah, why not? Let's give it a try.
They were really passionate and they transmitted this passion to me.
But like at the beginning, it was just, we were unsure, like how are we going to make a rocket?
With the university providing support and funding for the project, the students were able to start work on building the rocket.
It was quite hard to begin with because we literally had no experience.
First, we had to learn a lot, read a lot about rocket science.
Building it, we found extremely challenging from the beginning.
Somebody didn't do their part, the rocket would not fly.
But we chose to focus on the challenge ahead. Fortunately, that paid off.
I think like 2 months before launch in the States, we basically had nothing built on the rocket. So most of the internals were built at the iForge. We thanked them a lot because, they had to open at weird times for us to just get this thing going.
After months of hard work, the rocket was finally ready to launch.
Amy, she is a beautiful rocket.
Named after Amy Johnson, who is the first British aviator to fly from UK to Australia in a matter of 30 days.
And also Sheffield alumni, so that's what we called her.
It was 2.1 meter tall, taller than me.
Amy, I don't know, became like a baby. That's the care that we had for Amy.
There was just one small problem. Before flying out, they were not able to test if the rocket worked.
We couldn't actually test it in the UK because one, we didn't have the license for the motor, and two, there were no launch sites in England to launch the rocket, and we just didn't have like the resources and the time to make it happen.
So the flight that we had in the Spaceport America Cup was our first flight, and we were really hoping for it to not crash.
We just couldn't believe it would actually fly. We were pretty sure that something would go wrong.
We had a hope that it would fly, and then we had even a smaller hope that it would come down safely.
Launch day was something else. We were all really nervous on the day off.
The other rocket launches that we saw, they were all failing miserably. They'd just reach about 5 feet and they'd blast in the air.
When you see universities like that the rocket explodes halfway in the air, you're like, well, yeah, I guess ours is gonna do worse than that.
To be honest, I wasn't really expecting a successful flight.
It might work, it might not work, it might not even launch. It's like, oh man.
We were nervous, as it was to be expected.
It was like, sitting on an adventure roller coaster, waiting for the man to press the button. You are excited, you're nervous, you want to get up and leave and abort the mission completely.
I remember just standing there just before the launch. We were thrilled, we were really anxious, we were trembling.
When Jay pressed the button, and I think all our hearts stopped.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I just felt a sense of relief that the rocket launched.
She launched so beautifully, it was amazing.
And we were very excited to find out that it actually came back intact, that it was perfect.
And it was in such good state that we could have launched it again. It was in a perfectly good state.
She had a little bit of sand on the tip and on the tail, and that was it, not a scratch.
What the students hadn't realised was that they had another, greater success waiting for them. Their rocket was the closest to the target altitude of 10,000 feet, winning them the James Barrowman Award.
We saw the number and we were like, did that just happen? Is that 10,017 feet?
We couldn't believe it. I was like, did you manipulate the data? It is not possible.
Of course, we weren't thinking that Because yeah, we're gonna win an award and things. We weren't thinking at that at all.
Like, we couldn't smile even more than that. We're just stunned by how successful it was.
Yeah, it worked out pretty well. Made us super proud.
I am so happy that I got to be part of it, and I was given the opportunity by the university, by the department, to do this in my 1-year-long master program.
I felt incredibly proud to see Amy soar, of course, and to be part of the team that made all of this possible.
It was a really, really stunning experience.
I don't know, it was incredible. I still sometimes watch those videos and I just feel so happy because that's how I felt then.
If I were to do it again, I'd do it over and over. Seriously, like, I mean, every time I tell people about this super cool project, they're just like, wow.
This project has grown into the Sheffield Space Initiative, which has several different space exploration projects for our science, engineering and math students to get involved in. Find out how you can get involved on the website.